New York, new rock, live music and promotion.
Hi, I'm Simon Scardanelli and I'm from the band The Eye Camera, which, as you're going to discover during the course of this interview, is not so much a band but more of an experience. The Eye Camera's been working now for about 18 months, doing shows in New York City. The Eye Camera is myself and Scarlet Scardanelli, who is a filmmaker and a visualist. And we've been doing shows in New York starting about 18 months ago. And the show's been growing as we've done new shows. We work with film, with music, with performance, poetry. And so the show's kind of gone through several incarnations. Right now we just put out a CD which was recorded here in New York, actually in this apartment, and so we're busy promoting that and getting a few college radio stations to play it. We don't have at this stage any kind of distribution, so people are having to sort of send in little money orders to our mailbox, but that's working out okay. And yeah, we'll tell you a little bit more about what we do and how we do it and why we do it as we get along.
Let's have a great welcome for Simon Scardanelli of The Eye Camera.
Tears don't run, spark of life, he'll be gone. I need more track please up here, fast, thank you. The unsolved of a twisted life, the boy who learned to live by the knife. Look now, mama, look and see what this living has done to
stray dog. E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm was a meow, meow, meow everywhere.
Good evening. Welcome to the iCamera.
We'd been doing a few shows around New York, and we'd had some record companies down to see us, and the general opinion was that they loved the music, but they didn't get the idea of the show because there weren't five guys up there with long hair shaking their heads and banging drums. It's a very interesting show, and while they liked it, they really couldn't see what it was all about. So they kept saying things like, well, you know, you should have a rock and roll band on stage, and these songs are great, and blah, blah, blah. And I just got kind of really bored with that attitude, because every magazine you pick up right now to do with the music industry or the film industry is using this buzzword multimedia, and multimedia means exactly that: film, music, sound, poetry, whatever, all types of media.
Even as the daylight comes to a West End road where there's nothing more to choose, and a war breaks down due to lack of support in a party run by fools. And the talk is all of the faces seen by candlelight. Still, the lights keep burning in the middle of a town called Iron Strike. And as the police come knocking and the ladies wear ballroom gowns again, still they haven't got time unless they move along in a steady way. Someone shouts out a warning, and a poster on a wall starts to peel. Still, the lights keep burning in the middle of a town called Iron Strike. 'Cause they're rusting, falling, slipping and crawling home tonight. And they're rusting, falling, slipping and whoring all the night. And then another day comes. There's a ship in the desert with a captain who's been drinking hard by the light of the moon in a place now called Murder Park. And the rats are running as the ship is sinking fast. Still, the lights keep burning in the middle of a town called Iron Strike. 'Cause they're rusting, falling, slipping and crawling home tonight. And they're rusting, falling, slipping and whoring all the night. And they rust like steel as they're broken on the wheel like butterflies. And they rust like steel as they're dying in the fields, half hypnotized. Somebody's crying. Somebody's dying. Some people are living without even trying. Somebody's crying and somebody's dying, and some people are living without even trying. And she's wrapped in cigarette smoke and 1,000 broken dreams. And then the dawn is frozen while her lover's chosen to be out all night long. And it's a hard sell for a living hell in paradise. Still, the lights keep burning in the middle of a town called Iron Strike. And they're rusting, falling, slipping and crawling home tonight. And they're rusting, falling, slipping and whoring all the night. And they rust like steel as they're broken on the wheel like butterflies. And they rust like steel as they're dying in the fields, half hypnotized. In a town called Iron Strike. In a town called Iron Strike.
Okay, so this is my my little time capsule. This is where I spend too many hours of my days or nights. As you can see, it's small but serviceable. And I guess really thinking about how I did it, I guess the heart of the system is a rather old, worn-out Atari computer, which I'm going to have to change soon because it's so old and it breaks down all the time. It keeps crashing, but there you are. That's what it is. And I run Cubase, which is a sequencing software, and on that I do all my composing with the keyboards and drums and things like that. And there's a lot of guitars on the album, which you will hear. And for that I use a really nice old beaten up Fender Jaguar, the electric guitar that I use with, I customised the pickups on it. It's got a DeArmond, 1960s DeArmond pickup on it, and a Dan Electro lipstick pickup, and it sounds great. And the saving grace, I think, for any home recordist now is the Mackie mixer, which this thing over here, which is brilliant. I mean, it's 16 channels of beautifully quiet, wonderfully musical sound, and I think without that I couldn't really have made the record in a way that I would have been happy to put it out anyway. Let's put it that way. I mean, if you're working in a very limited environment like this, you've got to have the main things have got to sound good, and the Mackie mixer sounded great, so that saved my ass a few times. And I use analog tape. I don't like ADAT. I didn't use the digital recording for various reasons. I think it's a great system, but it's not for me. It doesn't sound warm enough. I think they're going to have to sort the resolution out a bit on that one. So I used an old Akai 12-track recorder, which is analog, has its own special little cassettes that fit in there, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty old. Some of the tracks sound better than others, so you have to kind of choose which tracks you're going to put different things on, like vocals need to go on the best tracks, and some of the electric guitars, they can go on some of the dirtier sounding tracks. In fact, it's supposed to be 12 track, but track 1's blown, so actually it's only 11 tracks now, so, and soon it'll be down to 10, but then hey. And then the keyboards are pretty old actually. I don't have anything really super duper like samplers or Proteuses or anything like that. A really old Roland Super JX, which is, it's great. It's got a very analog sound. I didn't actually use that too much. I use it to control the computer more than anything. Really old Casio CZ101, which I've had for about 10 years, which has some great sounds on it, and you can pick them up for $95, which is brilliant because they sound great. And then a couple of rack things. The ever-present Roland D110, which is, again, it's analog. Wouldn't be my first choice, but hey, it's cheap and it works. And I guess the most modern piece of equipment I have is a Roland R8 drum machine stuck in the corner over there, which is pretty good. I mean, I don't have enough of the sound cards for it that I'd like, but it's got some good sounds on it, so I was able to get a pretty good drum selection. And I guess my next investment would have to be in some kind of sampler, although I'm thinking of upgrading the computer to a PC and running Sample Cell or some kind of sampling program on that. That will really depend on whether anybody gives me something or if I make any money to buy it, because right now I could just about afford to buy a couple of floppy disks, so you know, we get by. And the one mic I use is just an AKG. It's not a really expensive one, but it works. And that's it really. It's small, but it worked.
These are uncommon times when worlds collide and nations fight for vanity. These are infectious times when love divides hides and it inspires insanity. Infected all around, a million loved ones underground, still rising. We search for clues in vain and look for someone else to blame. Someone, hold on to anything at all. These dizzy heights only to fall as sure as night, but wisdom seems so hard to gain. Must everything be so explained? We light the fires at night to keep the wild beasts out of sight, but nothing burns like hell on earth. Is nothing really what it's worth? Hold on to someone, hold on to anything at all. Someone, hold on to anything at all.
Hi, I'm Scarlet and I'm the visual force of the iCamera. And this is actually where I put all the artwork for the album together. This is my little design table. And I'm also responsible for the films that are showing whilst the iCamera is performing. And I got the album here. This is where it was done. And actually the front is an artwork, is a mosaic by a friend of ours from Berlin. His name is Niels Grossian. And so I did the back cover to match the mosaic style, and this is what the CD looks like. And on the back we have the logo, which is the iCamera logo, which I created actually about 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago. It's appearing on all of our invites, and so remember this logo. This is where all the films were put together for the iCamera show. These are snippets of Super 8 film, which I self-developed, partly scratch, treat in all kinds of different ways and methods, which are highly secret. Can't tell you anything about that. But I tell you a bit about my history in film work. I've been studying film in Berlin, and after coming out of film school I did a lot of video work, and commercials and documentaries, all kinds of things. And then I discovered Super 8, I discovered film, and I completely fell in love with film because it's so different from video. It's not as flat, it just has a third dimension. I love the grain, I love the depth of field. And so I started working in film, and since 16mm or 35 is just a bit too expensive for my budget, I worked in Super 8, and I really like the images. I really like to work with that format. It's affordable, and I'm working in a very experimental way, as you can see. You know, you will see the films that are shown in the show, and so that's kind of where I'm coming from and what I'm going for.
So people say, why don't you have a full band on stage, and what is the iCamera all about? Well, there's no real reason not to have a full band except that we don't have one. And more importantly, I'd been playing in bands before, and I kind of got bored with just same old thing every night and having musicians on the road all the time. And we just wanted to work together, Scarlett and I, and put our ideas together, Scarlett being a filmmaker, me being a musician, a singer and a writer. So we came up with the idea together of putting a show which is both performance in music and film.
Yeah, and there the idea was to have two screens, to have double projection, and therefore if you look in the center of the stage where Simon is, you actually get both sides subliminally. So you can concentrate, you can look at him and get both sides in, because you couldn't watch two screens at the same time anyway, could you?
No, that's right. What we're doing next? What are we doing next? Well, we're trying to get this CD out, obviously, to as many people as possible, get it played.
And we're trying to get some gigs around the tri-state area.
Yeah, trying to get out and do
Working
some
on
college shows. Anybody who sees this tape and...
Also, we got a tour booked in Canada,
lies, no. We haven't, but we're open to offers. We're trying to get out on the road. It's a very easy thing for us to tour because the equipment we use means we can shove it in the trunk of a car, and there's only two of us, and because we
even share a hotel room.
Yeah, a band that sleeps together, weeps together, right? So that's the plan. We want to get out there in May and June and start playing around. We're going to go to Europe in July, August, because there is a possibility that we might have a tour lined up for Germany and Holland, I think, and
Japan.
No, not Japan. But we're just oh God, we're just going to try and get out there and do our show. If you're watching the show and you're involved in any kind of booking or agency or whatever, then give us a call.
Or if you simply want to get on our mailing list,
yeah, you
send
can do
a
that
little
too.
postcard with your address to PO Box 113, Cooper Station,
New York City,
New York 10276.
Yeah.
Van Elmo live Wednesday, June 8th at the Grand in New York City. CD giveaways all night and very special live performances by Loretta's Doll, The New Creatures, and 10 Wings. For more information, call New York New Rock at 212-989-4605.
Your future has now been altered. New York New Rock and Sector 6 Communications present Tronic, the only all-industrial night in New York City, in the Tronic Room. Your host, Sir Wolfgang. Audio Rewire by DJ Hell. No bands, no techno, no alternative. For info, call 212-388-8027 for this and all Tronic data. Activated. Tronic.